All right. People ask me all the time, what do you think about carnivore or vegan or keto? Or they're all great diets, and you're going to find everybody online telling you that carnivore is the best or keto is the best or whatever. The problem with this is that there isn't a diet for people. There's a diet for a person. The easiest way to kind of break this down is to look at the somatotyping. This is the easiest kind of way to get this in. We've all met somebody, we know somebody, like, as I mentioned this, you're going to think of somebody who can eat pretty much whatever they want to, and they never gain an ounce. And, it sounds great. It's like, oh man, that'd be awesome. It's kind of their own little hell. Because a lot of these, especially the guys, they want to gain some muscle, they want to get a little bit bigger, and they just can't. Those guys have to eat a diet that is geared a little bit higher in the higher glycemic carbohydrates, where the endomorphs, the guys on the other end of the spectrum, where I sit, can't have any carbohydrates, so they get really, really fat. The idea that every single human being's metabolic function is exactly the same and requires exactly the same nutrient intake from your macros is, I think, a little bit silly. Carnivore is a great diet. Veganism is a pretty solid diet. It's just, what's the diet you're supposed to run? And this is one of those things that really I think we need to start kind of recognizing that everybody's a little bit different and we need different diets. Like one of my friends was running a phenomenal carnivore diet. When she first told me she was tired, I was like, oh, you're probably not getting enough fat. That's a big problem I see. And she showed me her diet and it was amazing. I couldn't have written a better one for her. The problem was that her body doesn't convert protein into sugar fast enough. So her blood sugar was always low. And so she couldn't run that diet. We had actually added in more carbohydrates to get her blood sugar to level out. And once we did that, she was amazing. And we used a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of tangerines, because those were her favorites. And it leveled it out, and it was great. So she's not running carnivore. She's running a heavily meat-based diet, meat, eggs, that type of thing diet. But she also has to throw in a little bit of carbohydrates to balance out her specific biochemistry. And that's going to be the big thing. So when you guys are starting to try to figure out, well, how come when I eat this, I don't get the same results Ted got or Susan got? You're not Ted or Susan. And so what you kind of need to do is, work with somebody who understands that there's more than one diet available that's going to eat towards your goals. That's kind of where a lot of this ends up is, and this is again when I don't like the calorie system, because the calorie system lumps everything together. I had 2,000 calories today. You just told me absolutely nothing. Like how much fat, what kind of fat, what kind of carbs, how much protein. Like I have no idea what you ate when you said you had 2,000 calories. Because you could run a 2,000 calorie diet that's really high glycemic, that'd be great for an ectomorph, or it's keto, which would be great for an endomorph, but they can't eat each other's diets. So the 2,000 calories tells me nothing. And that's why I've always had an issue with it. So if you guys are struggling with trying to figure out what your diet is, recognize that there's probably a diet for you that is different than everybody else. I would highly recommend that you, again, research somatotyping, try to figure out kind of where you are in that list. That will give you kind of a macro breakdown of more or less, fats, proteins, carbohydrates, the glycemic levels of the carbohydrates, and that type of thing. And you can start kind of putting a diet together that works for you. It's really it's sad because I do this with families, and sometimes like mom and dad are one thing and the kids are a little bit different. So we gotta figure out how to blend everything in. But it is one of those things where if you're trying to figure out how you need to be healthy, this is one of those things you got to get into. It's unfortunate, but chemistry is important and it's varied. Then you get into, if you really want to get silly with it, you can pull in the DNA factors and figure out, are you in TFHR? Do you have COMT issues? Do you have, MAOA issues? Like where are you in all these things? And that can help reset stuff. But you factor in stress and everything else and hormones and everything else on the outside. But as far as just straight up diet goes, everybody has a little bit different diet. And so what the best thing to do is figure out what your somatotype is, what your macro set is, and then try to find foods that fit into that macro set. If you need help with that, grab somebody who understands this, or what you can do is figure out like, hey, I'm an endomorph and I need to run more of a keto diet. I'm going to go find somebody who's good with keto. Or, hey, I'm an ectomorph, and so I need to eat like a higher glycemic diet. I'm going to go find somebody who does that really well. I'm great with both of those. I'm a little bit shaky on the vegan because I don't do a lot of vegan stuff. So if you're really wanting to run a hardcore vegan diet, I'm probably not the guy to call. But the other ones we do really well with. So if you guys are trying to figure out what you're supposed to eat diet wise, don't listen to these guys who say everybody should be a thing. That's never going to work for everybody. But try to figure out what your sonotype is, then your macro set, and that should help out. If you guys have any other questions, hit us up, questions@chalmerswellness.com or drop them in the DMs. Have a nice day.